Kevin, it is so nice to talk to you again. We got to talk about the 430 movie last year. So now I'm returning with Dogma, which we talked about a little bit, but now I want to talk to you about the journey getting here, getting Dogma back into your life, basically. And how does that
Right.
feel now?
Honestly, I've lived long enough and my career, thank the Lord, has lasted long enough where every year now is going to be some sort of anniversary. Like, we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of Dogma, but really it's the 26th anniversary. But like the Catholic Church, we stretch our truth a little bit. This is technically the 30th anniversary of Mallrats year. So next year is the 25th anniversary of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So you kind of like get to, hey, reintroduce a different movie every year, and thankfully we live in a very nostalgic, sentimental culture still. And with things the way they are in the world, people getting even more nostalgic and sentimental.
Mhm.
So I'm getting to eat out on my original work again, which is absolutely lovely because it means it's lasted
Mhm.
long enough for people to care, which means it increases the chances of me getting to make something in the present. So it's not just like, hey, a victory lap. Like when we went to Cannes in May with Dogma, it was the second time we took Dogma to Cannes. That felt like a victory lap. Like, oh wow, man, doing the same thing twice. But the value in Dogma going to Cannes meant that we got to meet a bunch of investors, which makes the sequel to Dogma a reality. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's not just a celebration of the past. My past holds up any present or any hope I have in making a film in the present. So I love it. And also, I've always wanted to have time behind me. Not like, I wanted to be old fast or something, but being in a profession that you were the one that told the world you were the thing that you've been defined as, right? Like one day I came out and said, I'm a filmmaker. And you got to get the world to agree with you. Otherwise, are you that thing? And over the time that it's taken to convince people that I'm a filmmaker, I have become that with
Yeah.
so much time behind me that even if you don't like the films, you're like, he's got time in, man. I love being able to be like, I'm a lifer. Like,
Yeah.
I got my foot in the door and was able to keep at least a leg in the room for most of this time. So it's extraordinary breathing. Like some filmmakers who've gone before me, who I was big fans of, never got their past work as celebrated as I get my past work celebrated. That being said, I learned from their example and was like, no help is coming. Nobody's ever going to celebrate you unless you celebrate yourself first. And so I've always, been very vocal about it. Like if people are still talking about Clerks, EJ, I honestly feel like it's because I keep talking about it. Not a day goes by where I don't say Clerks. It happened just twice in the last 30 seconds and
Yeah.
stuff. So the storyteller, I think if you're a Paul Thomas Anderson or a Chris Nolan, you're focused on the future. I mean, those dudes barely deal with their present when their films are out. You know what I'm saying? They're always on to the next fucking thing. With me, a lot of the job is
Yeah.
upholding the past and while trying to build the future. Did you ever see that episode of Rick and Morty where like their AI is building the reality right in
Yes.
front of them?
Yeah.
I feel like that's my filmmaking career, whereas the other guys are more grandmaster painted paintings and painters and stuff. But happy that anyone even remembers this shit, particularly when it's like, oh my God, this is the greatest cast I ever had. Look at all
You,
these famous
you
people.
just stole my next question because look, I'm a Kevin Smith fan. Jay and Silent Bob is my baby, but like this this movie it just has a badass cast. How does it feel? What were you like 5 years into your career to
It
get an
was
all-timer cast like this? I mean,
it was
just
nuts,
Alan
man.
Rickman, oh, Chris Rock, just so much goodness.
And honestly, we got Rock and Rickman because of Chasing Amy.
Hmm.
Rock was a massive Chasing Amy fan, and so was Rickman. Rickman came in. I've told the story a zillion times, but Rickman came in to meet at Miramax. I got a call from John Gordon, who was our exec. And John was like, "You'll never guess who came in today." I said, "Who?" He goes, "Alan Rickman." I said, "Hans Gruber was in the Miramax building. Did he fucking blow it up or what?" And he goes, "We were trying to get him to be in this Merchant Ivory movie." I said, "What'd he say?" He goes, "He didn't want to talk about that. All he wanted to talk about was whoever directed Chasing Amy." I was like, "I directed Chasing Amy." John Gordon was like, "We should send him a Dogma script." And I was like, "That dude could be the voice of Metatron." Like I didn't have enough confidence in myself as a storyteller, as a filmmaker, as a cultural personality, anything to go reaching out for an Alan Rickman. That you want to talk about above my pay grade. There are just people in this business that I've never even considered for my work because, like, you know, fuck your Brad Pitts, your George Clooney's, you know, your Julia Roberts, your Sydney, and currently your Sydney Sweeney. I don't know, maybe I'd have a better chance at a Sydney Sweeney because those kids were coming up when I was coming up. So maybe she saw stuff, but I have no chance at like the stars of old and stuff like that. So working with Rickman was something I never would have imagined or dreamed for myself, even though I was a massive Alan Rickman fan. I ain't just talking about like, I like Die Hard and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves a lot. No, man, I followed him into Closet Land,
Wow.
Truly Madly Deeply, into he played a bit part in the January Man just because he liked the script so much. I would consume anything the man did, yet never once in my day job of being a filmmaker did I ever think like I should cast Alan Rickman. Thankfully, Alan Rickman liked Chasing Amy enough to like start that conversation, and then we reached out to him. So between those two dudes, like I have Chasing Amy to thank, which means I owe a debt of gratitude to Joey Adams, of course, but also Jason Lee and Ben Affleck, who came back for Dogma. And we're meant to be Bartleby and Loki, but then Jason Lee went to do a movie in France where he was going to learn French and play a chef. And he dropped out of the flick. When he came back, we'd already cast Matt as Loki and stuff. So we hadn't shot the movie yet. And Jason Lee was like, "Can I be in it?" And I was like, "Yeah." I said, we got a part. We're out to Alec Baldwin on Azrael, but you know, if he might say no. So you want to read that as the devil part. And he went for that. And that role, him doing Azrael and Dogma, there's a direct line to how he became in the Incredibles
Yes.
syndrome, which is like beautiful and nuts and wonderful. And I wish I had just a piece of whatever he made off that Pixar movie. So Ben and Jason Lee coming back, and Ben coming back from Chasing Amy is a world of difference. The Chasing Amy Ben Affleck that I made the movie with returned to us as the Dogma Ben Affleck, as the Goodwill Hunting Ben Affleck.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ben and Matt had become a brand, you know, a portmanteau, if you will. Ben and Matt, all one word. So not only he was valuable to me as an actor in Chasing Amy and as a friend, but he was valuable to me as an actor and a friend and as a fucking bona fide movie star, both
Yeah.
him and Matt, when we made Dogma. So suddenly it's like, oh my God, you got those guys, but we knew them from back in the day and stuff. So still, those kids are powerhouses, you know, just beginning their ascendancy. Linda was coming off of Men in Black. She closes the movie beside Will Smith. And the idea at the end of it was like, oh, she's replaced Tommy Lee Jones and stuff. And she was following The Last Seduction, which she should have got Oscar nominated for and would have been if Showtime hadn't aired the movie once at 2 a.m. before it went theatrical back in the day. So she was amazing. And I grew up watching her in cable movies like Gotcha and Vision Quest and stuff. So she was always everybody's crush. And to get to work with her was fucking massive. Salma was just coming off of from Dusk Till Dawn and Desperado. She was a Maybelline, like Woman of the Year, the face of Maybelline and stuff. Like anywhere you threw a rock, you were hitting
Alanis
somebody
Morissette as
gigantic.
God. Like, and
Alanis,
I've Jagged Little Pill was my post breakup album. I get her godlike status. So for you to cast her as God, I'm like, what are you doing, Kevin? Get out of my head.
she was, I was a huge fan. Like me and Mose used to listen to Jagged Little Pill all the time, like through the Mallrats experience and whatnot. And then one day my agent calls me and he goes, "Hey man, you know that girl that sings about blowing dudes in a movie theater?" I said, "Her name's Alanis Morissette." He goes, "She wants to meet you." I was like, "Hopefully in a movie theater." But it wasn't. It was a restaurant. And I went and met her. And the reason I met her is because she liked Clerks a lot. She's like, "We just got done with the tour, Jagged Little Pill tour." She goes, "And every night on the bus, we would go to sleep watching Clerks." And I was like, "Get the fuck out of here." So she was like, "What are you doing next?" And I was like, "I just finished this movie, Chasing Amy." We went to her house. I showed her earliest scenes of the movie. And I said, "Hey, man, we're making this movie Dogma. And you would be perfect for the lead." This is before I even met with Linda, before Linda was even an idea. I was like, "You should come play the lead." And she got real tight. She's like, I can't act. I've never acted before." I said, "That's bullshit. You act in your music videos and you're real good." I said, "Plus, I seen you act and You Can't Do That on Television. You act like you didn't know the slime was coming as acting." And she was like, "No, I don't think I could ever lead a movie. That's too much work." So, we never talked about it again. A couple months later, I didn't speak to her for a long time. A couple months later, I was driving to Pittsburgh to start Dogma rehearsals and stuff, pre-production. And I had an earliest version of a cell phone, man, with the push squishy buttons and a little antenna, Motorola. Nobody had the number. Nobody really had cell phones. And it rang and I answered it. I said, "Who's this?" "It's Kevin. It's Alanis Morissette." I said, "Hey, man, how are you?" I said, "Where'd you get this number?" She goes, "I called information and I was looking for your number, but I guess I got your childhood home phone number because your dad answered."
Oh
And I was
my
like, "What'd he say?" And she was like, "Your dad was like, oh, he's got a phone in the car, a big shot. Call him there." I was like, "Well, that sounds like dad." I said, "What's up?" And she goes, "I just got back from India, man, and I'm feeling spiritually fulfilled and rested and ready. And I started writing my new album." That was the supposed Former Infatuation Junkie, maybe. That was the one that had "Thank You" on it.
yes.
So she's like, "I'm in a great headspace." And she's like, "And I remember you asked me to be in your movie." And I said no because I was scared. And that's not me. I never run from things that make me scared. I head toward them. So she's like, "I know you probably cast that part already, but if there's anything left, I would love to come play in Dogma." And I was like, "There's one small but crucial role that's left." And she was like, "What is it?" And I was like, "You could play God." And she goes, "Me? Why would you want me to play God?" And I was like, "Because I always believed God would be Canadian." And she loved that. And joined us. So yeah, man, like, and that was Alanis right off of Jagged Little Pill, right
Yeah.
before the next track. So that whole cast is like crazy star-studded, and they still hold today. I mean, even though Alan is no longer with us and George Carlin's no longer with us, they retain iconic status that still like gets fucked with today. George Carlin pops up in my Instagram feed periodically
Yeah.
in relation to today's political events. That's how relevant he is. And Rickman will never be gone because Die Hard is a Christmas movie. So, like Santa, he'll be with us every year. And until the new Harry Potter show hits HBO Max or whatever, Snape will
Yeah.
always be Snape.
Well,
So, even those cats who are no longer with us are still giants. And then don't forget, we had the biggest star on the planet. We had the poster behind me. They showed me poster concepts, which was like such a novel notion. Like, there's going to be another Dogma poster. I never thought that would be the case. So they showed me two different posters. One is beautiful, looks like the Last Supper, the cast arranged around a table and stuff. But when I saw this, the Buddy Christ poster, I went nuts for it, man.
it's
I was
perfect.
like, oh my God. I was like, we couldn't put him on the poster the first time around, man. We had to keep him secret. And they were like, I said, "Let's lead with that." They're like, "You sure you want to lead with that?" They're like, "All the actors in the movie are much smaller compared to them. Don't you want to lead with all the famous people?" I was like, "Who the fuck is more famous than Jesus
Jeez.
Christ? Like, he sells tickets."
Yeah.
So put him on the poster.
No, Kevin, thank you so much. I mean, you are just as iconic as the men you named, and I could have a
Stop.
45-minute conversation with you about life and Dogma. This is my second interview with you, and I just absolutely adore you. So thank you for taking the time. I
Means
need
the
more
world,
time with
man.
you. Next year, whatever you're promoting next year, we're talking next year. We're doing Jay and Silent Bob. I already told
Done
you
and
that
done.
blowjob scene changed my life, so I need to know.
That's
Like,
absolutely
I
true.
need you to know. We'll talk again soon. So thank you, Kevin. Have a
Yeah,
great day. Okay.
when we go shoot that movie, come out. We're shooting in March. We shoot the next Jay and Bob movie. So if I can bring it full circle,
I
come to set, literally come on set, and fucking
I
your
I
life.
will I will do it for that would thank you. Jason Mewes naked is you brought that to me. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Have a good day, man. All right.